There you go.
Hold on. It's just like that thing pops up on your screen. Hey guys. All right. Welcome to FAQs with us. We love in between collectives and we could do some free classes just to, I mean, when we're in the collective, we're full on in the collective. So it doesn't allow for much time for us to do any of these free classes that we like to put on YouTube. So we're here. We have questions that we get asked a lot. We also had done a poll on Instagram, which I believe Casey or Katie had put the questions together. If you know anything about me, I'm more like a roll up kind of person. So I roll up, Casey gets it all organized. So we have a list of frequently asked questions. Hopefully I don't make myself look like an idiot here. And if so, we'll ask Casey. One thing here at Study Notes is if we do not know something, we will tell you and we will open our book. That's the idea of just keeping it real. And like, I think there's a lot of stress in the study process of people just assuming like, oh, I bet everyone knows that. It's like, dude, no one knows that. Okay. Oh my God. I think I'm the only one who has never done an FA. Okay. Most people haven't. Right. It's just like that, keeping it real. So if there's anything that we don't know, I will tell you I don't know. And I just realized my Cooper book is downstairs, but that's okay because Casey's a walking Cooper book.
So I have mine right here. And one thing that Liat has taught me as someone who's a super control freak is, guess what, Casey? Don't bullshit it. Pull out your Cooper book. And I was always like, I have to know everything. I'm the teacher. She's like, no, it makes you unrelatable. So what I've learned over the last 3 years is to learn with you guys. So I think the way we will do this class is more of like, all right, I'm going to ask Liat some things. She might ask me some things. These are our like top asked questions. And then we'll open it up and you guys can all ask us questions. Any last minute dying things that you're like, I just don't get this concept. How can I get it? Because I know a lot of you, what I've seen in the chat is you're all testing in the next month or so. So that means that you're here because you're like, oh shit, I need to ask.
Are you, okay, I just want to know just an idea, like how many people are here with a question? Because that will also like dictate how much we do of like these pre-questions.
Totally. Vicky says yes. Me. All right, a lot of people so far. Okay, that's great. I love this. Okay.
Okay. So I literally think, Case, we maybe, this is, you know, Casey's got it much better if I change the script like this. I think what we do is maybe we choose like a few that like 2 or 3 that were asked on Instagram. And I think it's kind of fun to challenge ourselves to see if we could answer them.
I love it. Let's do it.
All right.
So I think what I'll do is
I can't tell Casey like inside is like killing me or she's
chill. No. I'm so happy. I love this.
I like to see it, like see if I feel like I'm smart. Let's see.
So let me see. Let me challenge you with 3 of the ones that we can roll. We can start the like question asking.
Maybe don't make them too hard. So we have, high P, low P, you know.
Because some people are here just for information. That's great. So there are some that were asked that I really also questioned. So I wanted, and Liat explained this one today so clearly to me. So I will ask you this, Liat, ready?
Which one is it?
So someone asked, how can the function of behavior, which we know as eats or seat, right? Attention, tangible, escape, and sensory, be different words than the FA, right? A functional analysis we know as contingent attention, contingent escape, the play, which is control, and alone, condition. And so Liat answered this and I have it written down. So if you need,
I'm going to see if I can do it twice. Let's see if I can do replication. Okay.
Yeah.
So first of all, and if you guys want some opportunities to quiz yourself too, get a piece of paper. You can write
add to the chat. You can send it to me privately, to Liat privately, of what you think the answer is. I want you guys to practice. No one's judging here. We're totally free, open. So someone asked that. They're like, well, the conditions are different.
Okay, so let me do it. Case, ready?
Do it. I love it. Yep.
4 functions of behavior. First, you got to know those. Okay. So I'm going to go in like that's ABA 101. So we have, sorry, when I first get started, it takes me like a minute with my color choices. All right. So we know we have, see, I change it up sometimes. We have that sensory. What does the E stand for?
Yell it out loud, guys. You're all here to work. Let's do it.
Escape.
Escape.
Good.
Beautiful.
A for
Attention.
Attention.
good. T for
Tangible.
okay.
Beautiful.
So these are our 4 functions, and when we're doing an FA, right, we are looking at what is the function. So we're thinking like, okay, well, why am I not testing for each of these functions? Well, you are, but in a different way. So let's see if you guys can list off the 4 conditions of an FA. Hold on. Let me. Oh my God, my Apple Pencil tip is legit like flat. I didn't
Is
even
it
realize
dead from the recordings?
from the recordings. I didn't even realize that like Apple pencils could like need needs to
You
be
like, are
sharpened.
very aggressive on your writing.
Okay. So the 4 conditions of an FA, we know it as who can name them?
Alone, play, those conditions.
Mhm.
Yep. Alone, play, for beautiful. I have people writing in the chat. Attention, escape, tangible.
Beautiful. So let's start off with sorry.
I was going to say just the reason why tangible is not one of the original 4 conditions is just because this is Iwata's 4 original ones. You can always test tangible. That's totally fine if you think that that's what is maintaining the behavior.
Totally.
Okay.
All right. So what I do is when I go through this, I'm like, I'm going to go give all my hashtags to each of these. So the alone condition, hashtag, meaning they're alone. Let's see if they still do it while they're alone. I want to see, there's obviously something internal that feels good. So for this one, I'm checking for the sensory. Right? Play condition. This is when they have everything they could possibly ever want. They have the attention they want if they want it, no attention if they don't want it, every toy that they could possibly want, the iPad, their favorite snacks, right? This is the control. The control, because it's like, all right, well, if they're engaging in the behavior when they have everything, there might be something else going on here, like medical or whatever it is, right? Now, attention. This condition, also known as contingent attention. This one, you're also testing for if it's positively reinforced, if it's maintained by positive reinforcement. Okay, because basically you take away your attention, you do something else, and as soon as they engage in the behavior, you give like, you're like, oh my God, what's going on? Oh my God, I'm so worried about you. Oh no, are you okay? Don't do that. Don't do that, right? So that's maintained by positive reinforcement, the attention condition. And escape, also known as contingent escape.
Okay, if you give one word for this, what would it be?
Negative reinforcement.
Or like a sound.
Oh,
Yeah. Like, shit, I'm out of this. Thank you.
totally. That relief.
Yeah.
So for the escape condition, right? Basically, you provide them with a task antecedently, they engage in the problematic behavior, and you're like, oh, don't worry about it. You don't even need to do the task. It's cool. Go about it and go like take a break outside. Right? So what you're doing here, if you notice, so the alone condition tests for that
Automatic.
that sensory or automatic component. Yep. Escape, we are testing here. Attention, we're testing here.
Mhm.
And tangible, you could make your own. First of all, it's just not one of the parts of an FA, but you can add that if you want. If you're like, okay, I'm pretty sure they're acting like an asshole because they want the iPad. Let me go ahead. Let them act like an asshole, then I'll give the iPad. Let's see if the behavior stops.
Well, that's
Right.
why I think that any type of FA that you guys do end up running should be completely individualized. It's not just like oh, these are the 4 ones, right? There's a lot of new ones in Cooper 3. There's the brief, the trial base, the ISCA, Greg Hanley's one. There's so many new ones that are out there in your Cooper book that will actually help you with your client. So all of these should be individualized and not just like, oh, I'm going to run this attention condition where you might not even think that is even part of it.
Perfect. All right. Next question.
Okay, this is
Let's-
another one that I get asked a lot, and I just got another question about it. Are you ready for it, Liat? This is one of your favorite topics.
What?
MO versus SD.
No, I'm kidding. Okay. MO
So
versus
you're
SD.
driving down the road. Someone asked, this was the question, that they're driving down the road and they see a billboard for food. And they said, is that an EO, right? Establishing operation. And does it evoke their behavior, or an AO and abate their behavior? So now we have to break this apart in the 3-term contingency, which Liat will do now.
Wait, they asked if it's an EO or an AO.
Yep. They said, if I see a billboard and go eat, would that be an EO and an evocative effect? And if I don't go, would that be an AO and an abative effect?
Oh, okay. Okay. So basically they're saying you're driving down the road, you
Yep.
see a billboard. And it says WAP per. Get it?
Yes.
WAP here. Well, depending on what you're deprived of, maybe that sounds great. So the Whopper, they're showing you like, right, there's some kind of sign and like you see that and you're like, oh my God, right? So remember when we talk about our motivating operations, we have, it's deprivation or satiation or something. So maybe like the deprivation of food might make, like, oh my God, that's an SD signaling, like I get off the highway here for food, right? Now, if you're deprived of food, the deprivation of food is going to be the EO, the establishing operation, establishing that reinforcer of food is valuable. And what's it going to do to your behavior? Well, if you're starving and you see a SD signaling like, hey, you can get a Whopper here, signaling reinforcement available, it's going to have the evocative effect on your behavior. Okay. So behavior altering effect is what it's doing to your behavior. Whereas the value altering effect is whether you value the consequence or not. Whether like, do you care about that reinforcer being offered? Yes, no, right? Well, if you just ate, now it's going to be the fact that you just ate is an AO, motivating operation, abolishing operation. You don't give a shit about that Whopper sign. And it's going to abate your behavior of going off the highway to stop on your road trip when you want to get somewhere, right? Now, when we talk about this, it's very important because you could also look at it differently, all right? So we also talk about condition motivating operations, right? Where it's like, there could always be other answers. What I hate is that when I was studying, everything was so black and white. It was like this or that. Once I started learning more, I'm like, oh, fuck, it's not just black and white. It's like 50 shades of gray. So it could be like, oh, well, maybe you've had a Whopper before and now the sign is serving as a condition motivating operation. The sign itself is like acting as hunger, right? It's like it's been paired with hunger. So now when you see the sign, it evokes your behavior of going there and to take you to, and then it could be like the actual Burger King is the SD signaling availability.
I also think that my biggest, after teaching for so long, the biggest takeaway for any type of CMO is you have to have a learning history, right? It's conditioned, meaning you have to have a learning history. So that is why I think it's like, oh, okay. Now, if I see a sign, say you had no learning history ever, and you're driving down the road and you see Whopper or Burger King, is that going to mean anything to you? Probably not, right? Because you have no learning history. Now, if in the past, when you see a sign that says Burger King extra strong Whopper with whatever it is, you might all of a sudden get hungry because in the past, when you've seen it, right, that unconditioned motivating operation of you being hungry, seeing the sign, it makes you want to go get it. Same with the bathroom. Yes, Yesenia, someone said the bathroom. If you see a sign for the restroom and you automatically have to go pee, even though you might not have had to before you see the sign, totally. That is a CMO surrogate. It is happening in everything you guys do all the time. Beautiful.
Okay. Perfect. All right. Now I think I'm ready potentially. Are you ready, Case?
For what?
To open up the floor for questions?
Totally. Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, I'm Casey. I'm super chill. Yeah.
I'm like the chillest ever. Inside.
Right.
No, just kidding. Yeah, I'm totally open. So I would say if we could do it in an organized way in the sense of maybe like the hand raising thing,
Oh, that's cool. That hand raising thing is super cool.
you know what I mean?
All right, first hand
Oh.
raise we see.
Just so it's not like,
Whenever
and we're not cutting people off.
I
Oh, I
think
see one hand raise. I see two hand raise. Okay. Oh, now I don't even know how to see them. Oh, wait, Vicky and all right, Vicky.
Hi, guys. Okay. So I have 3 questions. So do you want me to just ask one and then we can go again? Or do you want me to just knock them off? all
No,
three?
do one at a time.
So my first question is there such thing as a Punisher assessment? So you know how we have our reinforcement assessment that we can do? Is there something in terms of like determining a client's punishers that we do? I mean, I'm just assuming we would ask, we wouldn't actually go through the process of.
So for Punisher assessments, it's basically the opposite of a reinforcer, but while you're doing the reinforcer. So think about like, if you present something to your client and they don't like it, right? That's gonna like maybe function as a Punisher. So you're not really testing the Punisher as like, oh, I'm gonna like make you hate this, right? You're kind of pulling out that info from all of your preference assessments, reinforcer assessments. It's exactly the same. You're just figuring out what they don't like.
Okay, so there are though Punisher
Yes.
assessments. Okay, because I wasn't sure. Like I had read that on a mock as well, and I felt like it would kind of be unethical to have a Punisher assessment, but
No, totally. So it basically, so what I've read and what I've learned is that it's kind of what you're doing the whole time. You're figuring out what your client likes and pairing with them, and then what they don't like, right? So this could act as a Punisher because they are really avoiding it. They don't want anything to do with it. They don't like when you say no. They don't.
You're not gonna like test like shocking them, then like hitting
Like
them.
I'm not gonna, if I take away this toy and they're screaming, well, shit, that's probably a Punisher, right? Like you can see that the whole time you're doing a reinforcer and preference assessment.
okay.
Okay, number
Okay.
2, what do you
I think what we should do is try get some other people's answer too, just because
Sure.
of time.
Yeah.
And then if we can, Vicky will come because I only see 4 hands raised. Okay, next on my list is Deanna.
So I'm just gonna raise my hand and leave it raised. Is that okay?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah,
Okay.
leave it raised.
Yeah, I'm just
Hi,
gonna grab it
guys.
up for the whole class, you know?
That's like me. I'm like teacher's pet. Okay, Deanna, go ahead.
Yes, hi.
Hi.
So my question is from the compound schedules of reinforcement. So when it comes to multiple schedule of reinforcement, we know there's a SD, S delta. But however, I was wondering, is there a punishment component in it, like the multiple schedule of reinforcement?
So
Right.
the multiple schedule is, I mean, it could, if you wanted, essentially you could look at it as punishment as well, I would assume. I mean, I haven't read anything specifically on it, but just my guess being that, you know, it's just the understanding that, you know, there's a clear SD of like,
Right.
okay, this person gives me this much reinforcement. This one only gives me that much reinforcement. It'd probably be
Okay.
the same idea with punishment. Like, you know, I know dad cracks the belt, right? So I'm not going to engage in that behavior as much in front of him, but it'd probably be like the opposite way, right? And mom like will just like tell me like, don't do that, right? So there's like a clear SD. I have never seen it like actually written in text, but I would only imagine that would make sense. It's just like that stimulus control.
Right. So I was thinking more like, since it's a schedule of reinforcement, it's more leaning towards reinforcement than punishment, correct?
For which part?
For the multiple schedule.
Yeah,
And
they're
same for the
talking about
mix.
reinforcement because when we're talking about that, we're talking about like things that we like are applying, right? And we typically use reinforcement over punishment.
Right. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Thank you.
sure. Okay.
All right, we
Yeah,
have
I think I
Erica
got
up.
one. All right, next up, I see Erica Knapp.
Yes, Erica, what's up?
Hi. It's not more so of a question as just to maybe give examples of shaping across topographies versus shaping within.
Sure. All right. So shaping across topographies is, so the shaping within one is easy, right? We always talk about that. It's like you're already doing that behavior, but I just want you to do it longer. I want you to do it harder. Like all the things you scream during sex, not you, just anyone, you know, those are all shaping within. While someone's within you, that's shaping within. Okay. Got it? All right. But now shaping across, like a lot of skills you might be shaping across even for one skill, right? So if I'm teaching Kobe right now to, I'm trying to teach him to say his name, actually, right?
Oh,
So first I'm like, what's your name? Right? No response. Okay. What's your name? Okay, nice. If I were to take, I always think of shaping across topographies. Like if I were to take snapshots at different times, it would look different. So like so now I've taught him to say Obi, right? Obi. And if I saw like, that's actually across topography, because now when I teach him to say if I were to snap pictures, it would actually look different across teaching him. So like once it's like Obi, then Kobe, I'm shaping the successive approximations to get the desired response. Now, it also is think about like getting someone to, what was I doing the other day that it was like just such a perfect one? It was shaping across. Oh, like, you know, teaching someone to use a pencil, right? First, you're like happy they even put their hand near it. Now, like, but if you were to take snapshot pictures, like 1 second, it'd be like this, shaping across. Now they have it like this, right? Now like this, now they have it on paper. So you like, I always think of, again, like taking like photos, like above, and you'll see it's like going across. So it's not within. The within one's easy. Now that I said sex with it, you're good.
So I think that one of the best things someone had asked is it like response generalization? So when you're teaching, right, shaping is the thing that you're teaching to get people to learn different skills.
Yep,
So
you're using
what about
shaping for
golfing and
teaching.
fixing their stroke? Yes, 100%. That's what my husband did with me on Thursday. All right, Ashley, what's your question?
Hi, everybody. I'm
Hi.
really excited about this session. So I actually kind of wanted to
I
piggyback
love
off
that
what-
excitement. I need it. It's good.
No, give me it.
I was having some difficulty remembering the different types of condition motivating operations. I know that we touched on one earlier, but can we kind of go through the other two as well?
For sure. Okay. CMO.
One of my, I love these. Liat loves them.
CMO. QR.
We have a light bulb in the chat. That's so exciting. If you guys know anything about STUDYNOTESABA, we love reinforcement as any human would. So if you do have a light bulb, let us know.
And we'll keep teaching. Just reinforce our behavior. If we don't get any light bulbs, I'm leaving this bitch.
Literally.
All right.
Yeah. Just kidding.
All right. So Ashley, you want to know about the different, so first of all, I just want to draw out, I think this is always good to look at, just like to help us remember like where the MO lives. So like when we have like a 3-term contingency, right? We have the A, B, and the C, but we break it down further. We say we have the MO, the SD, we still have the behavior, right? And the consequence. So, and when we talk about unconditioned motivating operations, we're talking about deprivation or satiation of those unconditioned reinforcers, like the shit no one has to teach you. Like no one has to teach you that like water's valuable. No one has to teach you that you need food. Like from day one, you come out, Kobe came out like half cooked at 31 weeks. Food was valuable to him. Water was valuable to him. Oxygen was valuable to him. He was in like a, you know, that's basically they're setting up like that perfect Skinner box for him to live in the NICU. That's what I always think of for this unconditioned motivating operations. So we understand those, right? Deprivation of food, making food more valuable, whatever it is. But like, truth be told, a lot of shit we learn within our life, like it becomes valuable to us later on when we've come into contact. So the word conditioned, whenever you see the word conditioned, whether it's conditioned reinforcers, conditioned punishers, right? condition motivating operations, it means there's been some sort of learning. Okay. That means that whatever this new thing is, it has been paired somehow with an unconditioned motivating operation. So let's see what that looks like. So a CMOS, which is that condition motivating operation surrogate. This one like specifically is talking about, I mean, all of them have some sort of pairing since that they're conditioned, but this one's about pairing. So this one I always like, my mom is so interesting. I don't drink a lot of water. It's obviously genetic. I'm just kidding. None of us, or we all have too much ADD to even like remember to like drink water, whatever it is. My mom never drinks water, but whenever we're about to get in the car, she's like, I need water. I need water. I need water. Right.
She did it when I was there. And it was so
She's South
funny.
Africa. Yeah, she's South Africa.
Liat tells this example, and I'm like, there's no way your mom only drinks water in the car. And we were getting ready. I've never driven with your mom.
No, it's like weird to the point that
And we-
like
yeah.
her lip, the same way when I was
Yes.
getting divorced, like my mom like was like so broken over it that like her lip would get like stuck because her mouth would get so dry, and like her lip gets stuck in the car. It's weird. It's like, whoa, dude. So anyways, so the car has, obviously there was a time when she was deprived of water, which is an unconditioned motivating operation, right? And it's been paired with the car. So now the car lives over here. Okay, it's now a CMOS. It's the car because it's been paired with deprivation of food, right? And now water, she drinks it and satiated on water, right? So there's some sort of pairing that's been done. This is the classic example of like the baby who knows the, like been paired with the mom's smell, right? Deprivation of sleep has some point been paired with like the mom holding the babies, and now the mom holding the baby alone, or like Kobe's hatch machine in his room, like the sound plays. It's like that has been paired with deprivation of sleep when he goes in tired. So that's that CMOS. That one you feel good on?
I've heard good stuff. Yep.
Okay, good. Okay. Now the CMOR is the reflexive. And I think of this as a gag reflex. It's not the best, but that's how I always remember it. I'm like, oh my God, I'm gagging. Shit's about to get worse. Gotta get to the bathroom, right? So this signals worsening.
Does anyone in here have an iPhone? Yeah. Do you ever get these weather alerts? Like whether it's, you know, oh, snow, I'm in the Northeast. So it's like, oh, you're going to get a nor'easter coming, right? Or some type of weather alert. Like you better hunker down or get your shit together or move your car. Like those are, when I think of those, I'm like, shit, CMOR, right? I'm conditioned to know, yeah, high winds. For me, we have a boat too. So like, oh, if it's like, a high weather alert for tides that are really high, all those are like warnings that shit's going to get worse.
Totally. So what it does is it increases the value of avoidance or escape.
Now, someone had asked, and I love this question. There's also a CMOR improving. Okay. So my favorite one that I like to think of, because this is what Liat and I do every single day of our life, is that a CMOR for me, and again, remember, these are all individualized for anyone, right? It has to be based on your past history of coming into contact with some type of contingency. So when I hit the Zoom button, like tonight, when we switched from our FaceTime to Zoom, that for me was a CMOR saying, I cannot wait for students to be here. I'm so excited, right? Like, because I know there's going to be positive reinforcement. There's going to be people here that I like to see their faces. So in that sense, for my life, that was a CMOR. That Zoom meeting for me was a CMOR signaling shit's about to get better for you, Casey, because you're going to have a great time with students in Liat. So it's always based off your own kind of history of reinforcement.
Now, let me tell you, almost all the research on the CMOR is on, there is the, as Casey said, the improving part, but so you shouldn't like have heard of it. But the signaling worsening is like much more common in terms of like literature. So if it's like, oh shit, your car, right, is now, you wonder why the windows close at the house you pull up to, right, with the client you work with. Well, you're a CMOR. You're signaling shit's about to get worse and you're going to place demands. Or, you know, oh shit, I just,
Yes,
you know,
gaslight coming on, absolutely.
any of these things are signaling shit's about to get worse. Like you hear your boss's heels walking in the office, you're like, fuck, I better go to the bathroom, right? That's the CMOR. All right, and then CMOT, bless my heart, I taught this wrong for so long. They're probably on YouTube somewhere. Don't worry, if there's a video older than like 3 years, just ignore the CMO part, okay? So CMOT transitive. I had the like right idea, it's just the little detail, and I'll show you what it is, okay?
It's so
So
simple.
CMO transitive is hashtag tool, hashtag transfer value, hashtag problem solve. So this one is where you have a situation that suddenly makes something else valuable that you didn't give a shit about a minute before. Okay. So let's say you're in your house. The condition motivating operation is the fire alarm beeping, like saying you need to replace the battery, like, you know, beeping every now and then, like scaring you, right? So that you have that going on now. Suddenly, what are you looking for? D batteries. Okay. I'll tell you because it happened to me recently. You need a D battery, and who the F has D batteries hanging around their house, right? And if you do, it's something that's just like in the way. And like you probably, as I'm trying to like declutter my drawers now, something I'd like get rid of, right?
I did steal 2 AA batteries from you before I left, just so you know.
You literally think this is for what?
My head massager for the plane.
Good for you. I'm happy you enjoy it. So CMOT is the situation that suddenly makes something else valuable that wasn't previously valuable to you. So the CMOT, let's say you have an unlit candle. Okay.
Literally right now, like I want to light this so bad. And I kept looking around and my candle or my lighter is dead. And I only have a pen. Like I can't light this with a pen. And I wanted to light it this whole time.
Perfect.
So, yeah.
So that CMOT, right? That situation, which suddenly like, oh, fuck, I'm locked out of the computer. I need the password or the lighter or the pencil to write your notes. That is the conditionally conditioned reinforcer. Like in that condition, that learned reinforcer is valuable, right? The battery, the whatever it is. Okay. Does that help you with those? Yay. Okay.
Yes, thank you so much.
Of course.
Yeah, so the battery is the conditionally conditioned reinforcer because in that moment, in that condition, it makes it more valuable. Maybe tomorrow when you don't need to, what?
No, perfect. I was going to say that's how I used to teach it wrong. So a lot of people confuse it.
Like, so the moment that you need it, right? You want it more. So that is the situation. That is a CMOT that makes you search for that conditionally conditioned stimulus that you need. You need that lighter in that moment because of the unlit candle, right? The unlit candle is the CMOT.
No. Oh yeah. Sorry. But I was going to say, just remember where it lives, right? Like it's like the unlit candle would be like in the antecedent place, right? Making it do it. Like, so instead of being like, oh, the lighter is the CMOT, it's like, think where like the situation lives. It lives at the beginning, which suddenly makes an item valuable. All right, perfect.
All right, I have Tony G up for a hand raise. Are you here, Tony G?
Yep, I'm here.
Okay, tell me what you got.
All right, so I've been kind of struggling with the difference between DRL and DRD. I feel like they're really similar, but I can't distinguish why they're different.
Same,
God,
dude.
I
Same.
love this. All right, are you ready for a light bulb moment?
You know what? I had to teach this class.
Let's
last
go.
weekend. Let's see. It was like the first, okay, usually, no offense, but when you and Danielle are usually teaching, you know, I'm like distracted.
Mhm.
But because I had to teach it for these videos, it was like, and you taught it to me, it was like the first time like I understood it. But I want you to teach it.
Me?
Yeah.
All right, cool. All right. So I was like, thought you were feeling sexy about yourself, but that's cool. I got it. Okay. So, all right.
I still
so,
feel sexy, but I kind of get it.
all right. So first, I'm not sure how you're going to write this, but I want you to know, Tony and anyone in here, that if we're looking at differential reinforcements of any type of schedule, right? What do we want to do? We want to reduce the behavior, right? So that's like number one goal is decrease the behavior. So differential reinforcement of the lower rates, right? Is to,
And
we
just so
want
you guys know, DRL stands for differential reinforcement of lower rate of behavior. So just fill that in case anyone, and the D stands for diminishing rate.
right. So these are behaviors we might not want to get rid of altogether, which would be, we would use extinction, right? Extinction is where we want to get rid of that shit altogether. So when we're using differential reinforcement of diminishing or lower rates, we just want to decrease the behavior. We're not trying to get rid of it completely. So I'm going to use this example for both of them. This is because it's recently something in my life that I'm trying to do. When I eat, okay, I eat so fast. I don't sit down. I eat at the like bar table that my husband and I have, and I just eat so fucking fast that like, it's just not okay. So if, let's say my husband was like, Casey, I need you to, let's talk with a DRL first. Okay. So Liat can draw this. If he's putting me on a DRL, he's saying, I need you to go 30 seconds between bites.
Let me first do this. Let's say this is like 2 seconds each. So initially, let's say Casey's initially like every 2 seconds taking a bite.
Yep, which is true. So if he increases my IRT, right, my inter-response time, which is time between behavior.
Like this time between the 2 minutes, right?
So now what's happening is that decreases my rate of eating bites, right? If you increase the IRT, you decrease the rate of behavior. So if I go 30 seconds between bites.
You said 10. Hey, I already wrote 10.
I said 30, whatever, it doesn't matter. 10 seconds, that's probably more likely. 30 seconds, I'd be like starving. All right, so now I'm 10 seconds. So now I've only taken 3 bites. It's decreased, right? It's lowering my rate of bites.
Now, if I wanted to add a 30-second for you, there you go.
These are like really nice boobies. I like them.
When Casey tries to snap out.
I try to be cool. It's just never cool. I don't know. Okay. So now we're at 30 seconds and holy shit. Wow. Look at that, right? That DRL is working really good for me. And the reason it's working is because someone is reinforcing me on that schedule. So if you're asking yourself, well, why would you wait? Well, because think of everything in life. If you're put on a schedule of reinforcement and you're told if you wait 30 seconds and you're like going to get a high five or back massage from your spouse, whatever it is, whatever schedule of reinforcement's out there for you, you're going to wait, right? If someone's teaching you something, you're going to wait.
Yeah. And I always say, like, you're wondering who's going to do it. When we talk about a DRD, DRL, DRH, any of these, I always say, like, as BCBAs, this is our prescriptions that we write. Like, doctors write out like amoxicillin, Adderall, whatever it is. Like, we write these, and these are the strategies we use to increase or decrease the behaviors to where we want. Both of these are to decrease, but I'm saying in general. All right.
Now let's talk about a DRD. So I want you guys to first listen to me and listen to me loud. Ready? Are you ready? Tony, you better be looking at me. Okay. Every single DRD starts with a DRL. Okay. So I'm going to tell you that this is the lower rates of behavior I want you to engage in, Tony. Okay. And that's great. You know what a DRL is. Cool. Now, in those same intervals, I'm going to have it diminish lower and lower each time. So if I start and I say every 10 seconds, I want you to take 3 bites or less. I'm going to start that. That's your DRL, right? And listen clear. This is going to be your one way you're going to understand it, is that it all starts with a DRL. All right, 10 seconds, 3 bites or less, right? Next 10 seconds, 3 bites or less.
3 bites or less again?
Well, I'm just saying I wanted to see it, but it doesn't matter. So now if I say the same thing, now 2 bites or less, okay? In that same interval of time, right? Now another diminishing rate, 1 bite or less in 10 seconds. So diminishing rates is going to be where you're going to have the same interval, but less and less behaviors during that. That's what makes it diminishing. So every single DRD starts with a DRL. And you do not want people to not eat. So that's why you would use this example for one of these ones where you're not telling them they can't, you're just going down and down. Now, DRL, think always the inter-response time, right? Between. DRD, think same interval, but less and less responses during those intervals.
Wait, didn't you tell me, and because I literally was to ask about these, that, so if you see like a DRL, it would be like, look, I need you to like have, like, so it starts off just like, it would just be like, you need to have 3 bites or less for reinforcement. That's it, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Or like, hey, I need you to smoke 20 or less cigarettes today.
Yep.
All right. And then
So
once you
if
start changing the criteria is when it becomes diminishing.
Yep, 100%. So say you said you smoke 24 cigarettes in a day, right? You wanted to decrease it by half. So let's do a DRL. So 12 per day. That's 1 per every 2 hours, right? For a DRL. But if you look at that, what you're doing is you're lowering the rate because the inter-response time between them is getting larger. Now, if I said, I want you to smoke 3 or less cigarettes per an hour, right? Or per this, the interval is staying the same, but you're decreasing that behavior per that interval.
Beautiful. All right. Who's up next?
Tony, how you feeling?
Got it. That worked. Perfect. Light bulb. Boom.
Light bulb. Okay, cool. All right, we've got another from Alma.
Hi, you guys.
Hey.
Hi. Good. I have it's like a question I came across and I was kind of confused regarding the schedules of reinforcement. So with an FR1, which is also a continuous reinforcement, is that schedule the one that one can accidentally reinforce a bad behavior?
No.
The other ones?
So FR1, right, or that continuous reinforcement, it's saying the fixed ratio. There's a requirement that it has to be the correct response, but I'm going to give it to you every time you respond correctly, okay? So you're reinforcing the appropriate behavior here. Now, NCR, on the other hand, is non-contingent reinforcement, right? That's when I'm not waiting for you to respond. I'm just like, hey, love what you guys are doing down there. Like if I sit up here, I don't know if you can see the layout of Snava, but there's like, it's kind of like a queen sitting over here, but no one else works here. So it's just me talking to no one. But let's say I had like people down there and I'd be like, love what you're doing, keep it up. And someone's like, you know, like on Facebook, or I'm just like, keep it up, guys. Thank you so much for being such valuable players to our team. Really appreciate ya. Right. And someone's like literally like stealing office supplies to put in their bag. Right. That's that one where we accidentally could reinforce behaviors we don't want to reinforce. Right.
So yeah,
Because
tell them about time-based and interval. That's, I think, what's going to clear it up too.
yeah. So NCR is given out a lot on, it's called fixed time. I'm not loving my like not font differentiations here, or variable time. meaning no response required. I'm just going to either on a fixed time, like maybe every 5 minutes, I'm like, nice work, right? That's a fixed time, 5 minutes. It's going a little slow. Or I could do it on variable time, about every 10 minutes, which is probably more natural, like in a work setting, right? I'd be like, amazing. Also, like my dogs, Pavlov will literally bark like for a treat. Like if he knows like Kobe like left his food on the table or something, he'll like bark, bark, bark to get it. And it's like so annoying. So I would rather take away the opportunity for him to do that and just like give him reinforcement before he even starts barking. Like just throw him some food randomly before, right? But I might throw it when he's peeing on the couch. I don't know, because I'm not looking, right? It's non-contingent. Does that help you discriminate between the two?
Yes, yes, thank you so much.
Great, awesome.
We
Cool.
have time for one last question, and the last hand I see is Brittany.
Hello, mine's kind of a general question. I think it's a good one to end on. How do you suggest trying to understand for kind of all of the concepts, how to translate it from like real life examples to like clinical examples or like how test questions are worded? Because I can understand it when you guys are giving these kind of examples, but then I like read a test question, I'm like, what?
Okay, totally. So first of all, multiple examples is the answer. So I always try, and then sometimes I have to be like kept on track for time. Especially tonight. Usually I would like chill for a while, but Kobe's with my sister and she really doesn't love kids that much. I mean, she's obsessed with Kobe, but I don't want to push it, you know.
And I just text her, I'm like, she'll be there in 10 minutes.
So the idea is multiple examples, because what could happen is when you're learning things and you just are reading like the Cooper definition or something. So let's say that CMOS one, right? Everyone knows, or when you read that chapter, it always talks about the dad spraying perfume on himself. So he smells like the mom, so the baby sleeps, right? When you only have one example, you might be picking up on the wrong part of it, right? So you're like, oh, it's when you act as someone else. That's what makes it a CMOS, right? But I gave you another example here, like, oh, you're in the car, and the car is what, now serving as deprivation of water. And then I gave you another example of like, oh, you see 12 o'clock on the clock. You're not really hungry, but now you are because you know it's time to eat. So I really recommend, and then like, you could think about it like in a clinic, right? Like this kid, they're hungry as soon as they enter this room because they know this room is where they usually eat. So really multiple examples. And they talk like when we even teach about the concept of generalization, we're talking about, one way to help an individual generalize or answer multiple questions, multiple concepts is by learning multiple examples and then learning non-examples, like, oh, well, actually, wait, I don't get it. Aren't FR1 and NCR like the same? Oh, wait, they're not because of this.
And I would also say, just like my addition to it is, if you are not taking mock exams, that are reputable, that are going to give you good feedback, you're not coming into contact with enough questions. So that's going to help you be able to ask questions, learn what you don't know, learn what you do know, and be able to continue studying for the test. So if you are not doing that, I would say that's kind of important.
Perfect.
Yes,
And
Sandy,
I'm sorry,
I did 50
Case.
questions for that.
There's one I love when someone has their screen on for me to talk to, and Vicky N has been sitting here so patiently and like nodding and smiling to what I say. And there's nothing I love more than knowing I'm talking to a human.
Oh, yeah, you'll love me even more because I actually have been talking to Vicky and I said, please email me and I will meet with you about all your questions, because she has like at least 3 more. And I said, and she's like, really? Right, Vicky? Tell Liat I did say that.
It's true. Honestly, if I actually had to hold my hand up, I'd be exhausted by now.
I know. I literally said, because we answered her
Zoom.
and then I was like, and you were like, oh, let's go move on. And I'm like, yeah, totally. And then I messaged her and said, please email me. I've got you. And she was so happy.
Yeah, you're like, it's coming to an end. And I'm like, oh, fuck.
I know, you were like, shit. I'm like, no, we've got you.
Okay, so if you're Deanna, Erica, or Brittany Wilson, you guys are the ones who have been left with your questions unanswered.
So
don't
email
want you-
contact@studynotesaba.com. That is me. I will answer any question that you need from here. Okay.
So
I'll
with
make sure
that,
that you know everything.
here's where to find us. You could find us, you know, you can send an email anytime. Casey is behind contact@studynotesaba.com, like literally
Nice,
like
thanks.
takes a lot of pride in that email.
I do.
Follow us on Instagram. We post a lot of practice questions, or maybe you found out about this from Instagram. You could also sign up for our newsletters on our website to let you know like what events we're having, whether it's free events or what new things we're offering. We have been working on a lot of exciting stuff, so definitely keep updated with what we have going on. We're here for you. Instagram message us, what we answer everywhere. And that's all we
Yeah,
have for you tonight.
We're like, literally, this is like giving me life because I've missed so many people for so long. We've been on like a little bit of a break and just doing some recordings, but thank you guys
Break
so
my
much.
ass.
I know. Well, I mean, you know what I mean. And yes, email me. I will answer your leftover questions that we didn't get to.
All right.
All right. I'm going to end the recording. 1, 2.
Everyone have a good night.
Love you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.